Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculusters? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 207. I'm your host as always. I'm Dan, joined by my co-host as always. It is the Podracer himself. It's Samson. How you doing?
I am doing quite well. I was going to try to make a Podracing sound, and then I realized there's no way I could even try to attempt to do that. And it was just going to sound like a car, and then it would make no sense. So here we are, me describing what I might have done. I mean, but I'm doing pretty good. You know, I got in a lot of VR this week.
You did?
And yeah, a lot of old stuff, some new stuff. Yeah. Well, how you doing?
I'm good. It was my birthday on the weekend, and I had a surprise trip to Chicago.
Happy birthday from everybody.
And it was really good. Chicago, absolutely beautiful city. I was so shocked. I didn't. Have you been to Chicago?
I have been. I've been to a little Cubbies game before.
Oh, amazing!
I sat in those really uncomfortable benches.
There's no sports on, unfortunately, so I tempted to go back. And Trump deployed the National Guard just as we were in the airport to leave back to Toronto, so we got out of there just in time. But it was so beautiful. I was surprised. I've been to a few cities in America or North America now, obviously in Toronto, Vancouver, Seattle, LA, Boston, New York. Been around a few of the big ones.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
And this one, as a major city, absolutely beautiful. The buildings are stunning. The way the river goes through, and the bridges, and
the sea lions there. Did you see them?
I didn't see any sea lions. No
sea lions. Maybe I'm thinking of Milwaukee. I don't think so, though. I feel like it's in Chicago.
Maybe. I had a great time, though. I had my first deep dish pizza, and it was better than I thought. I thought it would be very doughy, but it was actually not. It's very
it's
cheesy.
A lot of sauce in there. Yeah, a lot of cheese, yeah.
Very cheesy. Not a pizza that I'd have on a daily.
Yeah, dude. You'd be a bit larger, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I'd have a New York slice on a daily, but yeah, this is a little bit different. But
I do love myself some pizza, Dan. It's something I
me too.
I pretty much eat weekly almost.
Me too. I also have a pizza stone and been making my own pizzas, and I've kind of perfected a recipe, and I do it every 2 weeks now.
Wow! How come you never post these pictures on the Discord? We'd love to see some.
I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it this Friday. I'll post it. I promise. I promise. Anyway,
hold you to
it. We got a great show for everyone. We had a little detour right there, but we're gonna talk about the first big game of this year, Star Wars Beyond Victory. We've had it for
the first big game of the year.
The first big game of the fall. Sorry.
Okay.
It kicks off the fall. You know.
Yeah, I understand now.
We've got this.
Well, I was like, we're 10 months in, Dan. That's a bold statement here.
It could be, it could be. It's been a very quiet year with a few on the big titles front, shall I say. But yeah, this kicks it off. We've had it for the past week. We've played it. We've finished it. So we're going to give our review. And mine's going to be hard off the press. I only finished it this morning. You only finished it yesterday, I think. So
yeah, over the weekend. Yeah.
And then also we have the Walkabout's newest course, Forgotten Fairyland. We're going to talk about that as well.
Had some fun in there.
I was actually wanting to talk about Arcanage because we have access to it and we're allowed to talk about the first 3 levels, but I'm going to save that for next week because there's too much going on.
There's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously Samson's got 6 other games he wants to talk about, as always. So we've got that to talk about. Samson, I just want to mention quickly, because we did just talk about the trip to Chicago there. When I was on that trip to Chicago, I finally understood the purpose of the Meta Raybans sunglasses. Not the display ones, yes, but also just the whole range. Well, a beautiful walk along the river in Chicago. There's a nice river walk. There's lots of bars, shops, and such as you're walking along the river. It's beautiful. And I wanted to just capture like the moment. But
I mean, I feel like I'm there.
yeah, well,
Was it windy?
Windy-ish, but I'm not gonna lie.
Like brisk?
Toronto is ridiculously windy, so I think we share because we're on one of the three major lakes there. I think we share.
What is Toronto's tagline? Like Chicago's the windy city,
It's
New
just the
York's the
six.
city that never sleeps,
The
Boston's
six.
bit racist.
Is that what Boston? Is that what Boston? I don't know. I don't know what tagline is. It's called the Six. I think that's a nickname for it because of the I think the six major like areas or so. I don't know. It could also be a nickname from Drake because he nicknamed it the Six.
You know what? Let's talk about VR.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I finally understood the Meta Raybans. So as I was walking, I had my phone, but I didn't want to hold my phone and kind of record like just I'm a tourist kind of thing. Also, I'm not gonna lie, as I live in Canada, being in America makes me a little uneasy, especially nowadays. So I didn't want to just hold my brand new iPhone 17 out just on the wild and
Humble brag.
humble brag. I didn't want to do that. So my partner also has like a handycam, like a classic handycam, which is also cool. But also, once again, a proper handycam. But this is where I was like, oh, I finally get it. I'd love to have because I'm wearing the sunglasses anyway. It was a beautiful day. It was like, I don't know, 85, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was like, this would be great if I could just record a few of these shots as I'm walking. It would be really nice. I understand the great part of the display one where you could have a little map as you're walking. You don't have to pull your phone out. You could just see the map. I can see that one day in the future for sure. But just having the cameras on the glasses are really cool idea, and I finally understood the purpose of me.
Yeah, they're definitely good. Yeah, they're good for travel and things of the sort.
Yeah. I'd find a hard time buying it myself though, because they are on the pricey side, and I would only wear them in the summer.
Do you get like work like compensated for work classes every year from insurance, things of the sort? I've heard people. Get a deal like that one.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
It seems like something Canada might offer.
Yeah. No, I don't think we do. Maybe. I don't know. I need prescription ones then, technically, but I don't need prescription ones. So that could be the thing. But yeah, I finally get them. I did look online. I saw them, and they're just a bit too pricey. I think if they were Apple, I would probably buy them. Just
can you use the AI in Canada?
I don't know. I'd be least interested in that. I'd only be interested in recording and potentially the music at a certain extent. But I don't, yeah. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Is I finally understand it.
Moving right along.
Finally understand it. Samson, let's do some housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Discord, there's a link in the description. A few other people joined the Discord recently, but they joined the old one, and I still don't know how, because I double checked the link and I use the same link because I have like a Apple Notes where I have most of it already templated out, and I checked the link and it's definitely linking to the new Discord, and I can't delete the old one because I'm not an admin, and no one is.
I see. We've made it now called Old.
Yeah, I renamed it at least. I renamed it to Old. But yeah, I don't know how you've joined the old Discord. If you have, try and catch them when I see it and post a new link. Sometimes I don't. So if no one's talking in there, you chose the wrong link. And I don't know how you got that link. Maybe an old episode, it still has it on there. But I'd say old episode. I'm talking like 50 episodes ago at least. So... Anywho, maybe in my YouTube description, it's the old. I don't know, somewhere. Samson, the old link lives on, and I need to find out where it is.
If somebody out there can help us, please do.
Exactly. But join us. We've got the Walkabout Thursdays, which also moving to Walkabout Sundays, where we'll play Walkabout. Do you have a time, Samson, for Sundays yet, or are you still unsure?
I'm gonna alternate mornings and evenings, and I don't have a set time yet.
Perfect. So you can come join us and play a bit of Walkabout. Even if you don't have the course, we've got guest mode. Speaking more of Walkabout, we have the Walkabout tournament that's currently going on that Healing Entree's put on. Samson, we got a couple of new courses this week.
We do. In fact, I'm going to read a little because Healing Entree is sort of making this too easy for me. Because he types it up, right? So the week 2 courses were chosen by Dave and Dimples. They were easy Cherry Blossom and hard Upside Down. And Dan, he also added personal best stars next to everybody who said that they got a personal best, or it might say on their scorecard actually. That's cool. So that's a nice little addition. Do you want me to go over the scores or just go into the next week's?
Yeah, give us a quick highlights.
Okay. I'll give you some highlights, Dan. The easy mode, so Cherry Blossom, the top 3 were Healing Entree with minus 23, Baru Monkey in silver place, minus 26, and then Parody for Life with minus 27, all 3 of them setting personal bests. Then in race mode, Kimmy Kai with 511, Healing Entree with 429, and Baru Monkey with 353. Oof. Then the hard mode was Upside Down. Parody for Life in 3rd place with minus 14. Baru Monkey set a personal best with minus 18. And Healing Entree set his personal best with minus 20. Crazy. 4 other people set personal bests lower on. Leanna in race mode, 714. Did you know that there's no wrong way to pronounce Leanna? So we can do it however we like, Dan. It's unpronounceable. So I asked. Then Healing Entree, silver, 601, and Baru Monkey in 1st place with 501. Wild.
I think I also wrote when we were doing our LTO 200 gifts to our Patreons, I'm pretty sure I wrote Leanna's name wrong on the card as well.
It's a lot of vowels, Dan. I understand.
Yeah, it's a lot of vowels.
But Dan, next week we got Forgotten Fairyland. We'll get into that later. But Forgotten Fairyland Easy comes out Thursday, day of this. And Ice Lair Hard, submitted by Baru Monkey.
Very good, very good. Ice Lair Hard. That's a fun one. I like Ice Lair a lot.
We played last week on Thursday.
Nice. I was out for birthday drinks, so apologies. But
don't let it happen again. Never another birthday.
Never another birthday. Not till next year. Let's go into patreon.com/letstalkoculus. If you want to throw us $1. Let's get into some listener comments. You can comment to us via Spotify, via YouTube comments, and on Discord. There's an episode discussion that you can use.
Come on down.
I'm thinking for the people on Discord, if you have questions about the show, just put it in episode discussion, and then there's a questions channel. Leave that just for general questions that anyone can answer in the Discord. Episode discussion's a good place for questions that you want us to talk about on the pod. I think that's a better idea moving forward. Just a public service announcement. Samson, we got comments. The first one's from RFX. This is on all of these are for last week's episode, LTO 206. And he says, catch me playing Pedal Rebel at the public gym.
Like you, Dan.
like me. Samson, I'll read the next one as well. TPZ LTO 206. Listening to the interview almost had me looking up stationary bikes on Marketplace, even though I don't have the pace for it. Great episode and great interview.
I believe he meant space instead of the pace. Although pace is a nice pun in this instance.
I don't have the pace for it, don't have the space for it. That's actually quite funny. I thought he actually did mean pace. Like maybe you just can't keep up with the speeds.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. I love it. Yeah, just let it roll right off the tongue. Like it didn't even happen. From Pow Pow also. Good episode. I'm pretty psyched for Thief. Mm-hmm. I honestly have no idea what to expect, seeing as I've never played a Thief game before. From the sounds of it, though, it's right up my alley. Mm-hmm. And man, I loved your Banners and Bastions commentary. It's such an underrated game right now. It does need more towers, though. I'm on the first world boss right now, and I'm assuming there's not going to be any new towers in World 2, which is a bummer. Hope I'm wrong.
I mean, you've gone past the first world.
I just finished the second boss, Stan.
Is there any new towers or anything like that?
I mean, I've unlocked all the cards. Is that what you mean? There's like towers, and then there's the catapult.
You can see the cards catapult? Even if you haven't unlocked them, though. Yeah, there is no other new towers. But yeah, fantastic game. I haven't played it this week because we've been playing Star Wars and such. But I
was going to get into it later on when we talked about what we've been playing, but I can talk about it now if you want.
If you want to.
No, I'll talk about it later.
Okay. In terms of Thief, though, Pow, I think if you've played, or if that looks right up your alley, I think Vampire the Masquerade Justice is one to have a look at, and Assassin's Creed Nexus as well. I think they're two games that seem like you merge them together and it could be Thief potentially from what it looks like. I also haven't played a Thief game, so I can't verify that. But they look like you put them into the AI generator and all of a sudden it spits out Thief. If it's a good one, shall we say. It's what it looks like.
The Pokemon breeding.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. So I would say definitely check those two out if you haven't played either one of those two. And then Samson Matt from Silicon Nation, but Matt, who comments normally on the Spotify, he said it was neat to hear that you can play 3D Blu-rays on PSVR1. I'm a big fan of 3D movies in VR. I watch a ton of 3D movies on Quest 3 and with big screen or Skybox. I convert 3D Blu-rays to side-by-side 3D MKV files and stream them from a PC with Plex or transfer them onto the headset. I think he uses like a USB converter, like disk drive and such.
Yeah, I've read about it. There's a few steps you need to take.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but that's pretty cool because I am not thought about that actually, ripping 3D movies off the discs. I haven't ripped like stuff off discs for a long time.
Dude, my PC doesn't even have a disc drive.
Exactly, right? It's been a long time. It's the last thing I ripped. Definitely not a DVD.
Although, since I was playing that PS1 rhythm game, Vib Ribbon, you can use your own CDs. So then I went ahead and cool. I bought 3.
What's this? I don't even know what that cover
this is one of them. And since we just had the episode on the favorite bands, I bought the Avalanche CDs. And this is I think their newest album.
Oh, nice. Very, very, very good. Yeah, there we go. And then you held up right there. You just brought up.
I had up. It was $4 at the local game store.
Yeah, wherever you buy your Blu-rays nowadays. Yeah, very good, very good.
The retro store. There's nowhere else that sells them.
Yeah, that's funny. Not the 3D ones anyway, for sure. All right, Samson, that's our bit of housekeeping, bit of comments. Thanks for all your comments. Keep writing in to the show. It's always fun to have it read. All right.
Mail time.
No, we just
That's what we should do it. Yeah, but now I have a...
Now you have a thing.
Yeah.
You gotta remember that for next week. All right, let's talk about Star Wars Beyond Victory, a mixed reality playset. It's a mouthful. The title might be longer than the game. Sounds
nice.
All right, let's kind of, as a review, let's kind of go through everything. We'll try not to spoil much on the game, but I won't say there's too much to spoil, to be honest with you. We're going to go through...
We've got the press kit to help guide us.
Right. We're going to go through the initial impressions, story mode, race mode, play set, things we liked, things we didn't like, improvements, and I have a lot of improvements. And was it worth $20? Which is how much at least I'm assuming. I looked at Canadian dollars, it was 26. I think it was safe to assume that was $20, but it could be a shy later, less.
Yeah, I did get that information from you.
Yeah. Although, as I went to Chicago...
I got it from the press kit, too.
I just want to point out, as I just went to Chicago, $20 USD does not translate to $26 Canadian. It's more like $30 Canadian, as I'm finding out brutally. It's expensive there. All right, Samson, let's kick it off to you first. What are some of your initial impressions before we deep dive into all the different sections?
Initial impressions were, huh. Okay. I like these VR bits. They like the VR cutscenes and the VR interaction scenes when you're like working on your pod racer and such. Those were my favorites. Those were the best parts. The cutscenes really were cool. Especially the ones in VR. The ones where I did expand the table,
mixed reality table.
Yeah, it was. I played both seated on my couch with it tiny, and I went outside and played with it huge.
Yeah.
And when it was huge, and they were like just walking on my driveway, it was kind of cool, but it was a bit jarring when it would they would make cuts, like it's kind of a cutscene, so they'd be huge characters right in front of me, and then it would cut like to a very different part, and then cut back, and that just felt weird. I'd say I had I had fun playing it. I played through the adventure mode. That's what I went through first, and then I went into the playset and the arcade mode. Pod racing, I was like, I wish I could see more. Honestly, at first I was like zigzagging everywhere. I was like, oh, you got a lot of control, which I feel like is, I also struggle when I play like the other pod racing games, the actual ones. I wish there was like more. I wish there was more.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah. And I also wish some things were done differently. I think I had like a pretty good time. And the playset is goofy though, Dan. And I immediately set up like a goofy situation, and I was like, oh, I can only imagine what, like, there's going to be Disney lawsuits or something from this situation.
Yeah, we'll talk about the playset.
Yeah, sure. So there you go. This is pretty initial. Also, the playset, like when it's in mixed reality on that table, it felt exactly like Tilt 5. I was like, oh, this is what Tilt 5. This is what it should be.
We definitely talk about that in a moment. I'm a little bit with you there. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It's short. I saw that Ninja Guy VR posted in our Discord his review. I didn't watch it because I didn't want to deter from my own thoughts until after we recorded this. But I think even in the title, he said it was like just over an hour it took him. But I think the exact is 90 minutes to 2 hours. And that's more to do with my play style for sure. It took me two play sessions. I did half of it yesterday, half of it today.
Did you lose any races?
No.
They're better than me.
I'm a champion. You're
an elite pod racer.
Okay, we'll talk about it. But for what it's worth, it's a fun game. It's a story. It's a short story, but it's a fun story to go through. The pod racing isn't great, and I wish there was more mechanic missions where you'd fix up your pod racer. In fact, to be honest, the more I think about it, the more I wish it was done differently, to be honest with you. And we'll get into that in a sec. But overall, I did have a good time. And at $20, there's not many $20 games that are like, at this level of license and developer and such. This is coming straight from ILM, Disney's studio there. For $20, it's pretty solid. I think I'd rather pay $10 to $15 potentially, but for $20, it's fine. It's a good sale game potentially. But yeah, that's my initial impressions. Let's talk about it a little bit more in depth. Let's talk about just the premise of the game for everybody. You have three main modes. You have a story mode where there's a story which involves some pod racing and some some VR and then some mixed reality options in there, and we'll talk about that in a sec. There's a race mode where you can literally pod race, and there's about 4 or 5 different maps, shall I say?
I believe 4, and they're all in the adventure.
They're all in the adventure, yeah. And You can pick between a bunch of characters who have their own, obviously, pod racers.
Not podcasts.
Yeah. Then the third mode is a playset, where this one's really interesting. It just allows you to use a bunch of like toys, essentially, so you can get you can bring C3PO into and R2D2 into the world, and then you can play with them. Like you can literally move arms and such, and all sorts. Yeah.
It's you can build. You're building like the ultimate diorama.
Yeah,
from all the things you've unlocked.
Yeah, and then so that's pretty much the game. So let's talk about the main part, the story mode. Samson, I thought the story was a little bit fun. And basically, it was the whole idea of you're a pod racer. Your pod. What do you call the pod racer? Like cars, like pod racer vehicles.
You call them pod racers.
Pod racers, okay, just pod racers. So your pod racer. Okay, when I say pod racer, I'm thinking that's the pilot of the pod.
Yeah, racer. I think so too. You're right.
So your pod racer vehicle. Let's just say
they're just pods.
They're just pods. Yeah. So your pod has broken down essentially, and it's in the warehouse. And there's a specific part that you really need. And you get talked to by a gang, basically. And one of the gang members is like one of the all-time best pod racers of all the land, shall we say.
Did you didn't recognize him?
He was from the first episode, right? Phantom Menace. Yeah. No, I did recognize him. And then
you want me to read the little...
I think I'm doing a great job. A great job. And then essentially you find the part with them, shall we say, without giving spoilers, and you have to race with them to win the championship, whilst they do some dodgy things in the background, shall we say. Not pretty accurate.
Good job.
Pretty accurate. So that's essentially the story. The way that the game is, though, is that there are VR moments. So when you go into a building, there's VR moments. When there's a couple of scenes where you're like waiting next to a building or your pod is crashed and such, you go into the VR moments where you're like on the track and such, which is really cool. But then
you just can't move very far.
You can't move very far, no. But then you have the mixed reality portions, and essentially it is a table where you can expand pretty much as you want. Like I expanded it as far as I could go with my wingspan, to be honest. But yeah, I expanded it that way.
Yeah, I think I made it. The biggest I got it was the max. Mm-hmm. It seemed to be probably about 15 feet.
That's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
And then it went like really, really far.
Went far in depth, right? Mm-hmm. So I did as far as my wingspan was, essentially, because that was quite comfortable. And then you have your character who is in 3D, obviously, and you control him in third person, and you can walk around your little map, and there's like a couple of different places that you should go to.
Feels like a third person game in that.
Yeah. So it goes between VR to mixed reality, back and forth, but then the actual pod racing part of it is all in mixed reality. So Sam, so you said the VR parts were your favorite?
Yeah, they were just the coolest, because the whole thing kind of feels like you're in like a movie of Star Wars, right? So the whole thing's a condensed story. Mm-hmm. I almost wish this game was like several different pod racing stories like built into one, combined to. Yeah, because that's how I feel like Star Wars does really good jobs of like these short, really just like deep dives into random parts of the universe.
Slices.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cutscenes look really good. Like
really nice.
Graphically, like all the characters, like they feel like you're like it all. It all seems so cool. Like there's not that many cutscenes even in a lot of the games we play in VR.
Yeah.
So, like as a Star Wars fan, it was just like kind of cool.
Mm. I thought it looked like, in terms of graphics, Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. I thought it had the same
Yeah.
graphics as that, to be honest. But graphically, it looked well. In mixed reality, it played well. It was. I'm not gonna lie. It is really cool to have the big table. Like you said, it kind of reminds me of the Tilt 5 AR. Kind of you in this one window, but there's so much depth to it as well. Obviously. And
Yeah.
it is pretty cool because as the one drawback of that is that you have no idea where you're kind of going. There is like a little pointer that appears, which is nice, but things appear into the map eventually when they come onto the actual
for the
square
Podracing.
that you're in, and for the standard 3D stuff when you're just on the third person stuff when you're on the
But you
main hub.
can move the camera around, so it'll just rotate, and then there's like a green indicator of where you got to go next. So you just spin the camera until you see that green indicator, and you're like, all right, that's where to go. And then as far as like going, there were like cutscenes in that mode, and so buildings would come up, or you could like look down into it. That stuff was cool.
That was cool.
But like playing in that third person mode where you got to move from building to building, like none of that.
It's very simple. It's just like
it felt really, really good. Like it kind of felt weird.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool idea. Like they've gone for something very different. It is like you said, like a Tilt 5 dream in a way because you could expand it as big as you want at least. And it does the stuff where, yes, you have the whole mixed reality. So like you said, a building might erect from the bottom and you can see the whole thing and it's in your room. You had TIE fighters on the left of you at some point where they were just floating in your room and they're firing in. Some bullets at times would come off the square. So the stuff that will leak over the square, but the actual like map will always stay within in the actual square. But I agree. I thought that was an interesting way to play, and I enjoyed the idea of it rather than the execution. There wasn't much in there. It felt like a test way of playing this game, but like they're just teasing out some or just trying out some new ways of playing. But the VR parts were definitely better.
I do feel like the pod racing could work better that way. You just needed more like to see more. You had to memorize the courses really to.
So let's talk about the pod racing. I really didn't like the pod racing, and I, to be honest, if you watch the trailer of this game, it looks exactly what you think it would be. As one of the worries that I think both of us said when we saw the main trailer of this game, that the pod racing looked a bit like in terms of field of view, like you can't really see too much, and things come at you really quickly. You know what I compare it to? There were these like racing games that you could play on like the Sega Genesis or so, like going back that far. And it'd be those kind of racing games like an F1 game or so. I remember having a game like that on the Sega Genesis where you'd go on the like Formula One track, but you can't really see anything. And then last minute the turn appears and then you have to, I need to turn right. And then the last minute the turn goes the way, but there's no way of knowing that's coming up unless you've memorized it, unless you've played this so many times. And it's really annoying because you realize when you do go too far left, too far right and crash, there's actually a lot going on this map. There's a lot of stuff, there's like mountains in there. There's things going on.
There's a lot of paths.
There's a lot of paths that you can go to. So there's a lot of hidden things, which is cool, but you kind of blink and you miss it, or because you're going so fast and such, and you don't really, because you're trying to focus on just your pod. Your pod's so small as well compared to everyone else's pod in the story. You can miss a lot of stuff, and it's trying to it has like the Mario Kart-esque of having some power-ups. There's 4 different power-ups in the game, and it actually doesn't do a good job in explaining what those power-ups are. Like we have the press release here, and it's saying that the blue one is gadget, which it fills up the gadget for you, because every pod racer has like a specific gadget. So your pod has like this jump mechanism, another one has like a bomb mechanism and such. You've got a yellow one, which is for challenge, which gives you more points. Green is health, which fills up your pod racer's health, and then red is boost, which seems like the most important one, is just to get more boost.
I figured that one out real quick.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were, and I was like, did I miss this, or do I just don't have a clue here what it is?
I just needed boost all the time, so you just have to. All right, I was like, which one's increasing that? That's what I need.
You're right. The whole thing is about boost. Now, Samson, there is one part. I did enjoy the last race, the final like climatic race, and it still had the issues
Or
of the pod racing.
anticlimactic, no spoilers.
No spoilers of the ending, but there was one part of the ending, Samson, and what happens is, and this might be mild spoilers, so I'll try not to spoil it too much, is when you have who's the person in Phantom Menace? It's Sebula? Sebubla? Sebu.
Yes, it's Sebubla.
Sebulba.
No, it's Sebubla.
Sebulba. I can't say it anymore. Anyway, I'll just call him Seb.
Let's call him Booba.
So he grabs a pod and starts racing, and then you try and chase after him. But there's an initial scene for like maybe 20, 30 seconds where you're racing him down. And when you're racing him downwards, it feels like you're racing him in like an isometric view. And I was like, oh, this is way better. I can now see where I'm going. Everything makes more sense. It looks way more in depth. This is great. But then eventually you come back to flat and it's just poor again. So I think if they had the game where it's like had that perspective, it would look really
right, because
really
you can
good.
see infinitely down.
Yeah. And it would look really good. And I was like, that's one way that they could have done it. But like not that far down.
That would have been weird.
Not that far down.
I'm
talking about 5-6 degrees down. And then all of a sudden you can see a lot more. But then it goes back to flat, and then it's just it goes back to having those issues where you can't really see much. So when you're racing, it kind of feels like just a frantic mess, and you're just going left, right, jumping around.
You didn't need any of those story bits to get to that.
No. But it was fun to do that part. Any other thoughts on the pod racing there?
I think you kind of nailed the head on the nail.
Nailed it.
That's the saying. The vision is really the issue. I failed once during the story because I didn't remain in first place long enough for something like this. I did like the dash, like if I was behind somebody and then dashing over them.
Yeah, that
felt cool. Going over jumps kind of felt cool, but it's so hard to tell what you're gonna hit or really like even to like try to get it unless you've memorized the course, which there's only 4 of them. So if you play arcade mode, you probably will do quickly. But yeah, for it, yeah. What are we going into next?
Anything.
Well, I was just thinking like. I feel like whatever you're buying this game value-wise for really will gauge whether or not you feel like you got your money's worth, right? I feel like if you're just getting this for the adventure and it's like you're buying a movie. Like, I feel like a Star Wars fan would feel like they probably got their money's worth from that.
Yeah, don't buy this for the pod racing. If you're like, oh, I really want a pod racing game in VR, this is not.
Yeah, that's if you're buying it for the pod racing, definitely not worth it. And if you're buying it for the playset, potentially worth it.
Okay, well, one more thing I wanted to mention on the story mode. Well, you do unlock challenges that you can do, so they're more like. There's certain challenges, and they're more like exploration challenges, it seems like. So you've got to look around the map and you can find stuff and such. And so there's a bit more replayability there. And the one also disappointment was the actual pod mechanic part. I actually thought this would be one of the best parts of it, where your pod is like broken down. And you have to fix it up. So you'll get like a bunch of tools. You can unscrew a bunch of stuff and put the new part in. You could use what else the tools that you had? You had like a wrench in there. You had a what's the tools, Samson, that you
soldering iron?
No, what's the tool that you used in there where there'd be fire coming out of it? What do you call that?
Soldering, right?
No, you're not soldering.
Blowtorch?
Maybe. One of those kind of items. I forgot. For some reason, I'm blanking here. But that was really fun to do, to fix it up, and it was really good. But the main fixing up, it only happens twice in this whole game, and that's a real shame. I wish that was more of a game mode where you could fix up, especially what happens at the end. I'm not going to spoil that. It would be really fun to have like maybe a separate mode in here that you'll just be like having fixing, like you're fixing challenges.
Fixer-upper mode?
Yeah, just challenges where like you have different types of pods, they have different types of damages, and it could be like a power wash simulator kind of vibe where it's not exactly difficult, but it's very therapeutic to kind of like find the parts on the wall, put them in, fix them up with your drill and all that stuff. I'd have a great time.
Dan.
That's what I thought.
Power washing in this?
Not power washing. I was like, just like power washing, the therapeutic aspect of it. By fixing up the pods. That's what I was really hoping for. I'm not going to lie. And there was only 2 chances of that in the game, and that's it. There's no other chance of that in the game. And I thought that was going to be one of the main aspects, and then the race mode is going to be the main aspect, but it simply isn't. So that was disappointing. All right, Samson, talk about the playset.
Like what the playset is.
Just in general, your thoughts.
Well, it's the creative mode. So anybody who's into creating worlds, or things of the sort, it is where you can let your mind go. There are every character from the game that you see. Mm-hmm. There's 4x416.
Yes.
And several pages of this, right? There's all the thing from the characters to the ships to their blasters to like a cup, a bottle, a bag, everything.
Every asset in the game.
Yeah. Is pretty much in
and
there.
more is there.
So, and then you can scale them as big or small as you want, and you can place them around your space. So I put like 2 stormtroopers, one like with his arm around the other, and then C-3PO and R2-D2 in my room, and I put them all to 100%, so they were life size, and it felt like I was hanging out with these little stormtrooper little scene. But you could be more creative and more scandalous, perhaps, or not, more playful, if you will. You can basically do anything you want, and it is thus, you could get hours and hours and hours of entertainment if you're somebody who, who want to create scenes like this. Then what can you do with it? It's really just like, I feel like walk around the scene, almost like the mannequin challenge. You remember when like businesses were, you'd just go somewhere and they were all doing that or whatever. It kind of feels like the Star Wars mannequin challenge in your own living room. Cause I don't think you can get them to move around or anything. So it's just they're all basically a static image.
You get the pod racer to move around at least, the actual pods.
In your scene?
Yeah.
In the playtest?
You can press the trigger button and you can get it to run around. I guess you can't do the playtest like you're saying. But that's the only thing that kind of moves, that you can kind of interact with, that could move,
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the playset is just that. If that doesn't interest you at all, and you're only here for the adventure mode, then that's where I feel like you got to look at this value. Like which of these things am I going to get? For me, it was basically the adventure mode is probably. I did a few other races. I didn't really unlock anybody. The other pod racers you can unlock all. You can. They all like work differently, if you will. Like they have
different abilities.
The unique pod racers. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that just like it. I wish it had simultaneous multiplayer, right? Like I could race you. Like if I'm racing you live, so that's way cooler.
It's not good enough though. That's a problem. Like the racing's not good enough.
I'd be okay with the racing where it's at if I'm racing my friends though, or I'd be more okay with it.
Fair. You want to hear some Easter eggs?
I'd love to.
The playset mode actually originated inside Industrial Light and Magic as a tool used on a number of feature films. A toyified version of this tool was shipped inside the game. So that's what the playset is. There was other fun things to talk about. Sabulba, I think I said that right, is voiced by his original actor, which is Lewis McLeod, which was really fun. And one other one that I'll say, oh, actually two. If you watch Star Wars Skeleton Crew on Disney, each monitor in the garage has a unique image that provides a bit more story, and one of the monitors has Star Wars show, the Skeleton Crew is what I'm trying to say on that specific monitor. Finally, there's one thing that we forgot to mention is when you are in your garage or garage, as I say often, I'm not gonna lie, you do have the garage radio, the garage or garage radio. Garage is it takes me a little second to say it. I'll just say it how I normally speak. The garage radio. I don't know if you took notice of this, Samson, but I thought the radio was really fun.
I heard it.
Yeah. There was a full-on like talk show that's in there, and it's really clear. And that's once again, I wish I was in that garage longer, doing mechanical things, and like fixing up pods for longer and having that option. That was such a misplay. And they had a good job. They did a good job with the two, but they just needed more. But anyway, there's a whole talk show in there that gives you information about every single pod racer.
Like sports talk radio.
There's also a commercial from Czel Slack, who appeared in Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, in there as well, which is really fun. Yeah, exactly.
Little bits.
Yeah.
Little eggs of Easter.
Little Easter eggs. But yeah, I don't think I have much else to say, Samson, on this. I'm just reviewing my notes here and just seeing if there's anything else on here, but I don't think there is. Overall, let's just give our overall thoughts here, Samson, before we run off. Lot of missed opportunities. Like it was an interesting idea. I wish a few things. The pod racer mechanic stuff, there was more of it, or there was a separate mode for it. I also wish that you could have the pod racer massive in your room, and you can do that with a playset, but then actually fix it up in mixed reality as well, which have been really cool. And I think with the pod racing, I'm not saying they should have made it in VR, that pod racing, because then that's a completely different scale of game. It'll be at like $40, $50 or something like that. But if they tilted it a little bit more, few degrees, 5-6 degrees, just like they did for 30 seconds or less of the final mission, it would have been pretty fun to play. So yeah, overall, I'd give it probably, I don't know, 5 out of 10, I would say. 5 out of 10. 2.5 stars, I would say. Is it worth $20? Probably not, but I did have a good time. I would get this on sale if you're a Star Wars fan. Otherwise, just avoid.
I disagree ever so slightly. I think the $20 is worth it for a Star Wars fan.
It's fair.
I do feel like you get a pretty good Star Wars story. If you're not into Star Wars, why even consider this? I mean, I'll rephrase. If you hate Star Wars, why even considering this? If you're on the cusp, I'd say wait for a sale. I think generally, if you're not a Star Wars fan, is $15 probably. But also, you just look at it with what you want out of it. If you're somebody who's like, oh, there's a lot of like different funny scenarios or great scenarios that I can think of for this play set. Oh yeah, I think you could probably, get your money's worth. I do feel like if you just want it for pod racing, it's probably not.
It's the weakest part.
Yeah, that's the weakest depth part for sure. Unless you're really a big leaderboards chaser, then you'll probably have a pretty easy time with these leaderboards. I don't think they're going to get that deep, but yeah, I feel like at some point when I was playing through this, I was like, how much is this? Because if I spent $30 on this, I definitely would be upset. So I was glad to find out that it was only $20. But yeah, I think I remain with the the recommend at a sale. If you're Star Wars, it's probably worth the 20. And if you don't like those things, probably stay away.
Mm-hmm.
It's odd to say because I do feel like it's sort of like it's not a pod racing game, but that's clearly a big part of this. And for that to be the weakest part is not great. But the acting and all that, I did think some of the writing, I was like, that doesn't sound really like a Star Wars. It seems like I'm watching like a Saturday morning cartoon or something like this. But
it feels more like a kid's adventure for sure, if you're going to put it that way. I agree. The voice acting was good, but the actual script, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's that, Dan.
Very good. I did think your crew was very much like a Guardians of the Galaxy crew, to be honest. I liked who was a dinosaur person? Triz. Triz sounded a lot like Rocket. Dude? Yeah. No. The in the
I got you.
In the crew. The characters were pretty good overall, but yeah. There we go. There's our thoughts. That's part
It was
one.
kind of funny, Dan. Yeah. I played it for a part in my driveway where I had them really blown up. So, like, I would be watching a Star Wars cutscene and then a car drove by. It's just like, for immersion, probably not the best, but it was cool to have it that large outside.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that'll do for part one.
A short one.
So we always do a 50-minute part one, let's be honest. Even though we had one thing to talk about, always is the case. In part two, we'll talk about Walkabout, so we will see you then.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
All right, welcome back to part two of LTO 207. You heard our thoughts on Star Wars Beyond Victory. Now let's talk about Walkabout Forgotten Fairyland, the latest course, the 36th course in Walkabout's history. We've been playing this for the past week. Well, we've had it for the past week. I'm not gonna lie. I've gone through both courses 3 times, so it's not that many times. But
that's more than me. I think I played through the easy once and the hard mode twice.
Interesting. Foxhunt, is that why?
Oh yeah, I completed the foxhunt and I found every ball.
Oh, nice. I actually found quite a lot of balls in this one, which is not really like me. But I seem to just always keep spotting them, at least for the good for front 9. I think the back 9 I struggled on, to be honest.
Dan, I did a lot of my sneaky method of finding the balls.
Oh, you cheated
on this map.
You cheated.
I'm going to go so far as I used flying. And if you fly far enough away, massive parts of the map sort of clip in and out, and then what's left is just the cup and generally the ball, and then you can.
That is cheating.
I aim right at them, and then I just fly straight.
I think that counts as cheating. I think that counts.
It's searching with skill.
All right, let's talk about once again initial impressions, Samson, or just a quick overall thoughts before we get into it.
All right, Dan. My first impression was I had the music on. And I was God. Harry Potter. Oh, I see what you did there. Because it goes, do, 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 do.
It has,
and then it
that
changes,
kind of tone.
And then it changes. Yeah.
I actually never thought of that, to be honest, but fair play. The music is great.
That was the first thing, yeah. It feels eerie. It feels like a carnival that was lived in. It's, it hits all the beats of the carnivals, right? It's got the what's it called? The little the things where you throw the ball at the milk bottles or whatever. Yep.
It's called a fairground kind of like games.
The swing that's where you get air, anti-gravity swing, the swan. I'm going to just stop describing all these things because I'm not great at it. But it's a great eerie vibe, and it just feels so cool, and such like a different vibe than the last Halloween course that was also eerie, but like way more like haunted house. Whereas this one feels more like it's more grounded. It feels more like a real place. Whereas the other one was more fantastical, if you will.
Yeah, I agree. The easy mode I enjoyed the most because everything's alive and it's really fun to go through that world. Skee ball, they have fortune teller is another one that they had.
The hammer hole, where
hammer.
There's no hammer, but you're just going vertical.
I love that hole.
Crazy.
It's actually probably one of my favorite holes. I think that's hole 11. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Actually, playing it a few times now, but playing it definitely this morning, I realized how much I really like the holes design for this one. Like, really like them. Like, there's no one hole.
Ones.
Yeah, but there's no one hole that I actually didn't like, and there's a lot of holes that I really love. More to do with like how creative it is. It's like with Elvis, for example. Compare this with Elvis, where they have a lot of creative holes in there. But there's a few holes that were a little bit annoying. There was some holes that were really great in there as well. But this one, I feel like, for me personally, like almost every hole I actually really, really enjoy. So yeah, and I love the eeriness of the hard mode, where I love the color palette as well. They do really good with the lighting and such. It does feel saturated, and it feels really good, or desaturated rather. And you can ride the rides. There's like 3 rides that you can ride. You've got the coaster. You've got the sheep, which is like the horses in the fairground, and then you have the actual Ferris wheel, which you can ride.
Did you ride them all?
I did, and the coaster made me sick immediately. I had to take my headset off. Like, I was on it for like 5 seconds, and I knew straight away that this is motion sickness, and I took it off straight away. But the sheep were fine, and the Ferris wheel was fine.
You could do the kid rides.
Yeah. This is like real life almost. Yeah, all right, Samson, let's talk about each one in depth then. Let's talk about the easy course, or you can mix the easy and hard. Is there any favorite holes or anything in particular that you really liked about these holes in this course design?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you see this is the reason I mentioned this hammer hole. Because it's
hole 11.
super. That's such a unique hole. Because I don't think we've ever encountered such a vertical hole. So the way this hole works is you have about 6 inches of a putting green, and then it just ramps upwards
straight
and it slowly gets more narrow, and the cup is all the way at the top. So you've got to hit it all the way to the top, and you've got to hit it straight, and you've got to hit it hard.
Yeah.
Because there's no off point, right? It's just right back.
Well, if you if you hit it shorter, it will just go through a different hole.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
There's different pipes, but if you get it right to the top, it's going to go for hole in one.
Yeah, that was it. So you're always going to get either the 1, 2, or 3 or whatever.
Yeah. It's not like Gardens of Babylon and such, where it's just uphill and there's hardly any safe points as such. Yeah.
Exactly. I think what I did was I hit it and it came straight back down, and then I hit it up all the way.
Fair. I remember Dave getting it when I was playing it, but I didn't get it.
Another hole, there's a bunch of holes that are like 4 or 5 strokes deceivingly. So there's the swan hole, especially on hard mode, where you're going through where the swan boats would go.
It's like the haunted house in a way. And
it's super duper windy. It's a par 5, and where you start, you can see the cup.
Yeah.
And it just feels like you're going through that thing forever. And there must be a shortcut over there. Can't wait to play with Baru Monkey.
Right.
But until then, that was one I really liked. Just like it was deceivingly long. It almost felt like being like a hall of mirrors, where it just like you get so turned around as far as depth and all that.
Yeah.
I like going through the beginning bit of all the carnival games.
Yeah, me too. I my favorite
That was
one.
probably my favorite bit. Yeah.
The ski ball was my favorite one because I still haven't got it in the main the hole in one, but it's like I could tell how satisfying it's going to be when if I do. Yeah. I like the fortune teller because there's a little hidden like pipe behind it where you can get a.
But on hard mode, is there also?
It is, but it's a little bit different. It is. There is a little slit as well, but I've not been able to get it.
I couldn't even see it. I tried to fly into it, and I was like, "There's no opening."
Maybe there isn't then, but you can see it in the front. But maybe,
yeah. So, but maybe you can get it up and over and into it. I don't know. I couldn't figure that one out. But yeah. I did really like those ones, particularly on easy.
One of the ones that I really liked. I like there was one just before the Ferris wheel where the hole is kind of like a coaster where you just have to hit it as hard as you can. There's a ramp, and if you hit it as hard as you can, it will go over that ramp and then get to the other side where there's a big open.
It's like the broken coaster, right?
Yeah, I like that one, and I really like the one in the circus tent where you can get it to the hole in one go if you wanted to, but if you try and go the other way, which looks like the safe way, and you try and get it into the cannon, it shoots out the cannon, it hits the back of it, and it goes in for a hole in one, which is incredibly satisfying if you can get that one. Because the animation is wicked. I didn't even try to get
in the cannon. Because I was like, oh, I can just hit it across. That's easy. Yeah. In fact, I was just talking to Dave about how I appreciate this hole because it feels like the one from Tethys Station, except now there's a backboard and
the safeties.
Exactly. Like on Tethys Station, you're like, oh, this is so cool. I want to ramp it up. Mm-hmm. Be like, I got to be so precise. And then finally, you do not have to be precise because even if you hit it short, you can bounce it in to the area. So you've got a backboard where you can kind of hit it long. You can hit it short. Apparently, you can hit the cannon. I'm gonna have to try that.
The cannon. The cannon's so satisfying. That's the.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't remember. I don't think I did it in one. I got it into the second, and I almost got it, but it was kind of a tough angle to get in. So then I got it in the second shot, and then the animation that hits the back wall, and you don't think it's going to go in, but it goes in. And it's like what's that course? I can't remember that course where you're in like a kitchen and you're going to hit it up a ramp, and then it goes down the like cupboards where the plates are, and it can go in the sink, and it goes Venice? In.
No, or is that it was one of the water ones?
I don't remember which one it was, which course it was, but
20,000 Leagues maybe,
but it was like satisfying like that in a way. If you can get it in, it's definitely quicker than what that one was, but incredibly satisfying. So yeah, very good. And like I said, the hard mode is eerie, and I really like the music. Let's just quickly talk about the music. The music's slightly different in both modes. I like the one in easy more because in the hard one it's like more of a slower undertone. But I really like the music in both. I think they always do a great job with the music. I believe that they had a composer, or they're just the main person who normally does the music at Mighty Coconut did this, and they did 2 original scores, and they always do a good job. There's always a good job. Samson, in terms of the balls, you found them all. Is there any that you can think of that really?
I've got a new. I mean, I got the ball. I'm using the rest of the month for sure, Dan.
Oh, it's a clown. Which one?
And it looks like it's a scary looking clown.
Is it the one? Is the black ball with the crown?
It's white.
Oh, I've been using the black one with the. It must have I think it has like a Joker on there, or a devil kind of thing. That's in the hole. I think it's like hole 15 where it has a bunch of. It's like a perspective kind of hole where there's like a bunch of hands or things on the wall. There's a devil at the top. There's mirrors.
The eyes and the sun.
Yeah. I've been using that ball. I don't know why, but I think it's a nice little pattern. But so you've got. I don't think I've got that one. The clown.
Well, Dan. Yeah, I couldn't do a clown laugh. I don't know, but it's pretty good. That's now I'm going to use that. I don't really. None of the others really stood out to me from best of my memory, or rather, I saw the clown one and I was like, I'm using that one, and I didn't quite look as in depth at all the others. And then I got the club. Were you able to get the club?
Did, yeah. I thought the fox hunt mostly was pretty straightforward. There was a couple that did get stuck on. I did it with Dave, but
I had to call Dave too.
I did it with him at the same time. We did it together, and there was a couple I think I got stumped on at some point, but we pushed through it. We found it eventually. I enjoyed it. I thought it was because of the environment. It was a fun little treasure hunt around this one. And yeah,
I would definitely suggest
solid.
golfing the course first.
Correct.
Before doing the fox hunt.
Correct, because then you get to notice where all the different monsters are and such. But
Yeah.
like there was one where the fox hunt is you have to find the power generator. There's 2 generators, and I knew where the first one was straight away because I was literally right next to it, and I just noticed. I was like, "Oh, there's a random generator here." And then later on, we did the fox hunt, and I was like, "I know where this is. I've seen it before." It's like Upside Down in a way. It's very similar to that one, where it's good to play the course and know where you're looking at.
That one, yeah.
What do you think of the putter?
Well, I used it after I unlocked it, obviously, for the rest of my round, and I did not so much like using it, but it as an art piece is quite good. It kind of feels like you're like playing with a stocking.
Yeah,
like the club head kind of looks like like a stocking kind of. I don't know exactly what it is. And then the shaft is like a circus tent, and then it's got a sheep up top, like a sheep ornament, if you will. Kind of looks, if you're on the video, like
3D printed
this.
sheep from Kure.
And I'd say I like that. Like it I liked it all. I like how it all kind of put together. But I will say, when I was putting with it, I did not like it.
Yeah, I like the look of the putter. I don't like putting with it because I found the putter head too big. Like it's large. Like it's pretty large. It's like the putter from Sweetopia.
Back at you.
The putter from Sweetopia, which is like got like a twist, it's like a green twist. I like the look of that one, but I don't like putting with it because the twist for some reason throws me off. I always like to put
I
with
always
like
want
the
to shout
straighter.
after.
Nice one. So yeah, overall thoughts, Samson. I really like the whole design. I think it's really clever. I love the environment as well. I think this is one of their strongest. They do really well now. Like you think of something like Raptors, Raptor Cliffs, Tokyo, for example. What they do in the environment in these tighter spaces, maybe not Raptor as much, but definitely more Tokyo. They do really well in tighter spaces because there's so much detail. There's so many elements in there, and this
Raptors
is another
Cliff
one.
has a whole store.
Yeah. That's why I was backtracked on what I was saying there because like it is not as tight, but it feels tight when you look at the map, but it's not. But something like Gardens of Babylon's a tight one, for example. Tokyo is a tight one. Some of these courses are like quite tight and compact, but they do really well because there's so many elements and they structure it really well. And they've done a great job with this one. I really love the environment. I love the clever little storytelling in there of how it's abandoned with the hard mode, and the fox hunt's like, oh, there was these kids and they said it was alive, and that was basically you because you played it in the easy mode. Yeah, I love the designs. I love that it's not too scary at times. It's not like Widow's Walkabout, which can creep you out a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a very good Halloween course that doesn't lean too heavy into Halloween.
Agreed.
And so it's a Halloween course you can play year round, which is kind of cool. And now I want a Christmas course I can play year round.
Just a festive one. Yeah. So I actually really like this course. It's one of my favorite ones that I've played so far this year. And yeah, we'll talk about it more in terms of rankings soon. I mean, probably in like 11 episodes time or 10 episodes time. That will take us all the way to the Christmas holidays. Yeah. And we'll do a 2025 ranking of Walkabout like we did last year for 2024. So I'm interested to see where this stacks up. Sometimes when they're fresh and you've just played it, you really like it because it's new. But then do they stand the test of time? Who's to say? what did they rank up against Mount Olympus? I don't know. Still my favorite one this year. So we'll see.
Not mine. Spoilers. But this one, yeah, I really liked it. Are we giving overall thoughts? We done?
Yeah, I
feel like we gave them.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like I've
given the
everything
thoughts.
I've said have led to my overall thoughts in a normal fashion.
Anything you didn't like? Just FYI.
So I will say I don't think this is perhaps a good first course to show someone.
No,
right?
Not.
It's not that there's like necessarily real gimmicky. Like there's no new mechanic, so everything's grounded in that way. All normal gravity and the like. But there's a good amount of holes where I feel like you step up to the tee and you don't necessarily know where you're going yet. Right?
Yeah.
Like you've kind of got to move around to see. Like that wacky wonky room that you were talking about with the devil up top or whatever. That one on hard mode is so many mirrored rooms with slanted floors, and you just kind of lose track of yourself there. So it is like a sort of tough course in that way, I'd say, which I like. I'm into it, Dan. I'm into it. I like it. I'm glad I can play like a sort of creepy Halloween course, and now it like fits the time. But you can also play this one in the dead of winter, and it would also hit the spot.
One last thing before we move on. The home screen in the shack is a little bit changed.
Yeah. Oh, Dan, it's fantastic. Sorry, it's awesome. I love every minute of it. So before, when you would pick your map, there was little bubbles underneath or little circles underneath that were just blank, and you had to know like, pages. Oh, this is page 2. This is page like this one's on these pages, and now there's a little icon. And the little icon is chef's kiss. It's spot on for the most part, right? And it makes sense. I can't name every icon right now, but you'll understand when you see them. Like the evil layers one, I think is a little evil symbol, right?
I don't remember that one. I remember the Jules Verne one is the submarine. I remember that one. There's stars for like the Elvis course and Labyrinth and such. And there's the classics course, which is the first like page and such. There's I can't remember the symbols, but
this
now it's
you'll
easier
memorize
to
the
navigate.
symbols exactly. And then also on the left side, where you normally select private room or custom game and all that, they've shifted. That's where your avatar is. So now you see a picture of your avatar, what they look like. So you don't have to scroll through anything now to like know what you look like. Yeah. And then you can click right there to edit. The edit screen comes up in front of you, and then you can save and exit, and boom, bang, bam, boom. I love it. It's all put together very well, and just help. Like all those little touches really go.
And we got a few more stats as well, Samson. You can now see your race mode stats and your hard mode stats and your easy mode stat. Like you have a few more stats in the menu, not too in depth, but just a few more numbers available to you.
Okay, I didn't quite see all that. That's good. Do you think that's the numbers bit from the roadmap?
Yeah. They also told you how many balls you've got out of 18 and such and whatnot. So there's a few extra, unless they were there before, but I only noticed it. Sure. I only noticed the race mode ones, but that could have been last update.
I think race might be new, but the balls were for sure before.
All right, perfect. So that's our thoughts on Walkabout. We'll be playing that on Thursday. I guess if you're on Patreons, you'll know because we'll be playing that. If you're on the free streams, then that was last night. And you may have missed out.
Yeah,
got to be a Patreon.
Look forward. I'm playing this week. I'm playing on Monday because we got a vacation long weekend here.
Yeah.
And so I've got some time.
It's Canada Thanksgiving, Samson.
Yeah, that's what I'm celebrating. We're going to be eating the pardon turkey. Y'all do that for your Thanksgiving too? I don't know.
I think it's exactly the same. I'm not going to lie. But all right, Samson, I've not played anything else. So do you want to round this part out with anything else that you want to talk about here?
Hell yeah, Dan. I'd love to. Because I got into some Masternoid again. And, all right, Dan, This one's is growing on me more and more. I now own it on Quest and Steam and PlayStation VR. I'm trying to find all the leaderboards with all my friends. It's incredible. So the way it works is it spells out Masternoid on the main menu.
Mm-hmm.
And each letter has about 5 levels in it. So you do the math. Then there's, on Steam, they had daily levels. So you had like a daily leaderboard. But I didn't see that on the other platforms. And then there are levels that are made for like seasonal ones. So there was one that was like Rudolph, and he's the map or whatever. I'm loving every minute of it. I can play it a little bit in the car, right? When I've got, because all you're doing is you're moving one hand and you're basically playing Brick Breaker. And the sounds are great. It's very simple, but just so everything does exactly what you want it to do. I never really feel cheated. And I just zone out and I'm flinging these balls and getting all the multipliers. So Masternoid, it's $15. If that sounds like too much, for an arcade type of game, then, just put on your wish list, look for it on sale. On Steam, it was just like $7.50. I saw Brew Monkey got it there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it'll go on sale on the other platforms as well eventually. But honestly, $15, personally, worth it.
Yeah, you've got
I've already gotten so much more time out of this than I did the Star Wars playtest.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm loving it. It feels the same pretty much on all the platforms, but it does use the face haptics on PlayStation, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, cool. Very good.
Got into a little Arcanage, which I think we're going to talk about a little later in a couple pods, so I'm not going to get too much into it.
Next week.
But I am already past where I played before. So I've got more to say on that.
Yeah, we'll talk about the
later.
first 3 levels next week, and then we'll review the whole game when it comes out, which is October 30th, I think. But yeah.
There you have it. Got into a little Wipeout, trying to, I was like, you know what? I got like 15 minutes. I can knock out a couple races here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. PlayStation VR1, Wipeout Omega Collection, peak VR racing. You get in that cockpit, and before the race starts, you can just see all the fans around. It almost feels like what the pod racing game should feel like is Wipeout Omega. And then you just 3, 2, 1.
You're right, actually. That if that was the pod racing game, then my gosh, what a game!
Yeah.
Yeah. But that would have been a completely different approach. But yeah,
for sure. But yeah, just great game. Dan, I got Blacktop Hoops on the PlayStation VR. Because Brian Paul was looking for somebody to play with the other day, and I was like, you know what? I did kind of like that on Quest. I'll go ahead and I'll give it a whirl. I was having mic issues, but other than that, the game feels really good. I was getting sweaty. Getting sweaty as like I hopped out, and my girlfriend's son was like, "You're all wet."
What like, are you doing in that?
I was dripping, dude. She was watching me play too.
That's funny.
But yeah, it feels pretty good. It's like goofy at times, very goofy. Like when you're both chasing the ball, like it just feels so silly. But yeah, I'd love to play some 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. It's not crossplay for, for reasons, because Sony reasons. But I do have it on Quest too. So, but yeah, it's got a whole campaign. It's got like fantastical courts to try. You can do crazy, yeah, like not real life. You
I see. I see. Got it.
All right, that's Blacktop Hoops, Wipeout, Arcanage, and Masternoid. Demeo Battles. Because Dan, I've been finding myself having like 20 minutes here and there, and I've been just playing 1 or 2 Demeo Battles, and with my buddy Will. We played 1 or 2, 2 or 3, and we've been trying to use, since now we have everybody unlocked. We're trying to be like, hey, we're going to use these characters we don't always use.
Yeah.
And I've been using the wizard more, and he's really growing on me because he gets this banish card. And so I wait for the fire to all come in, the burn, and then I banish the other player, and it moves them all the way into deep into the fire, and then they just get the burn. They've got to waste all their turns coming back. Love it. Love it. Demeo Battles.
Very nice.
Finally beat the second boss in Banners and Bastions. What I had to do, Dan, in Banners and Bastions, as previously mentioned, is a hand tracking tower defense game. Roguelike those. So you're gaining stars each level, and then you can use those to do more permanent upgrades. But you can eliminate all the stars and then start over. And that's what I had to do. Because I had put stars into things that apparently weren't really helping me as much. And what I did this time was I went all the way in to the extra money that might help. And then I must have, they must have paid off eventually. And I was finally able to beat so I beat the second world now.
Nice.
And I haven't quite started World 3 yet, but I got there, and then I was like, you know what? Take a break.
What do you know what the theme is for World 3?
Yeah, I think it was snow. It felt recycled, if you will.
Nice.
Didn't hop into the first one. And then Cubism, the puzzle game. I knocked out one more puzzle this week, slowly.
I'm impressed that you can, when you've not played it for a while, you can still knock out, I feel like those kind of puzzle games, because it's like a way of thinking. I'm always having to redo a few just to get back in the brain space.
That would be chess, but Cubism is more like I'm more like a child that's trying to put all the blocks in. Yeah, put all the blocks in. And I'm just I'm just putting them all in. I'm like, you know what? I've tried to put them in the same way 7 times in a row.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work this 8th time, so I'm going to try something new.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, very good, very good. Solid set of games there, Samson. Solid set of games. I did ask the developers of Reach if we could have a code, because Reach comes out next week, but nothing yet. So if we do get it, then we'll have a review, or at least an impressions of Reach for next week, as well as Arcane Age. But if we don't, then the Reach will have to wait till the week after. Just a quick FYI for those on the pod, because Reach is coming out next week, but I'm not sure if we'll have access to it. All right, Samson, that will do for part 2. Part 3, we have actually quite a few games out this week that we do need to mention, so we're going to wrap up the show with part 3, so we'll see everyone there. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part 3 of LTO 207. You've heard Star Wars, you've heard Walkabout, and you're still unsure what games to play. Well, these are the games coming out this week. Samson, I'm going to start first. The first game is called Rager. Rager is a music action brawler that throws you into epic battles where you fight like a true warrior. Set in the dark digital realm that builds itself around you, each world emerges from the void to test your skill and dissolves once the battle is won. Every moment is powered by intense music that sharpens your senses and pulls you deeper into the fight. Samson, this is done by Flat to VR Studios, and I actually have it. You have it too, but I'm not sure if you've seen it. And
I saw the email, but I haven't hopped in yet.
There's been a demo that's been out for a while, which I never jumped into. I was meaning to, but you can download the demo. It's still available. It's absolutely free. It got decent reviews, but the actual game is now out as well. Or at least they say early access, I think it technically is. But I have the game on my Quest. I was meaning to play it today, but I actually didn't have time, so I will play it for next week. But I'm looking forward to this one because it's like a fighting game, but a music fighting game, a rhythm game rather. It just looks very different to some other rhythm games out there, so I'm looking forward to trying it. Obviously, with these type of games, sometimes it's all about what kind of music is on there, but we'll see. So I will play this next week and let you know. Perfect. Samson, your turn.
Guess I gotta read Star Wars Beyond Victory, a mixed
Sure.
reality playset. Set during the reign of Empire era, Star Wars Beyond Victory, a mixed reality playset, introduces players to an original story that blends the thrilling world of pod racing, a stellar cast, powerful narrative, and mixed reality play in Star Wars Beyond Victory, a mixed reality playset.
Nice. I don't think there's much more to say. We've talked about it a lot. Pretty good for the dollars, but maybe not if you're into Star Wars. If you're not into Star Wars, then just no point. All right. Super RC. Unbox your car and assemble it by hand. Design dream tracks with the track editor. Bring your creations into multiplayer and go wild with the friends in sandbox mode. When you're ready for more, hit up the hobby shop to test drive and buy new rides. Buy it, build it, drive it. The base game includes a turbo jumper, a robust track creator, and over 3 hours of single-player races and trials, sandbox mode, and up to 8-player online competitive racing. Go wild in the sandbox. Spawn dozens of ramps, props, and obstacles to build wild stun packs and obstacle courses with your friends. Test crazy ideas, create chaos. Your imagination is your only limit. Samson, this seems like it was right up your alley.
I think, did it get delayed? I thought it might have gotten delayed. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it does sound really cool.
Oh, I don't know if it got delayed.
It does sound really cool.
I'll have a look if it got delayed. But yeah, it's basically like the Scare Electric stuff.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Trackcraft game.
Yeah, exactly. I can't find the release date anymore. I thought it was coming out this week, but it's not.
Yeah, I have like a vague memory of this coming up in the Rough Talk Discord, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Shall I read the next one?
It did get delayed, but it got delayed till now.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Jinx,
that's 2 in a row. Wild. So hard to do on Riverside. Next one, Memoriam. Memoriam is a VR sci-fi action horror campaign. Mm-hmm. The E-Core infection has taken over the last ship of humanity. You are Dr. Otto Hudson, fighting to unravel the mystery behind the outbreak as your fragmented mind slips from reality. Unravel the mystery aboard the Century Dawn. The year is 2311. Ripped from your stasis pod. You find a very different ship from the one you left behind. The inhabitants have lost any shred of humanity, and your only hope comes from a scrambled voice guiding you through the darkness. Is this reality or just another symptom? Fight for your life. Take up arms against those you swore an oath to save. Build an arsenal of unique and powerful weapons to face the monstrosities of the E-Core infection. And scavenge what you can to survive, but as you adapt, the infected will do the same. Memoriam.
This actually looks really good. Like, it looks like a really good survival horror game. Kind of gives me Dead Space vibes. There's just too much to play this month.
Yeah, speaking of, Dan, I just want to mention here that there is an Among Us 3D update going on now as well. I believe through the end of the month. And it is Afterlife adds the Wraith and the Guardian Angel, which are 2 new roles. The Guardian Angel, I assume, means you sort of can protect people once you die. That's how it played in the flat screen one.
I see.
So you can kind of, once you're a ghost, you can kind of go near someone who's living and then give them protection for a certain number of seconds. And then there's Wraith. I don't know what the hell Wraith is, but if you're interested, there's apparently an Among Us update. It's been a minute since I've gotten in. Maybe I can get a crew in this month, though.
Yeah, I haven't been in for ages. So, yeah, let me know. I'd probably be down for this if it works out. But, yeah, very good. Very good. All right, Samson, this is our show. I generally thought we'd have not much to talk about because we had only 2 major games to talk about, and let alone we've now hit pretty much an hour and a half, just shy of that. So we just love to yap. We love to just yap around, and we somehow 207 episodes in, we still love to yap.
People listen.
People listen. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. I hope we made light of your commute or downtime or stroll or however you listen. Bath time, maybe.
Poop.
Maybe poop. Yeah, maybe poop. Yeah.
Imagine that somebody only listened to every single poop. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Maybe in 30-minute chunks, potentially.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Morning.
Anyway. What a shitty way to end the podcast.
I love it. All right, that'll do for the show. Like I said, next week we'll be talking about Arcane Age. Hopefully we're talking about Reach, but at the moment it doesn't look likely. But obviously Reach is coming out. Yeah, it's a Reach. Good. We keep just throwing all the puns in right at the end of the show here. I've been Dan. He's been Samson. And we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.